Enjoy. Enjoy that lovely music. Busy bop. Bebop.
Yeah. Guess what I got delivered today?
What did you have delivered today?
God, I've been getting so much stuff. Some of it I can't talk about.
Oh,
but this
that's
one
not
I
fair.
can. This one I can.
Yeah.
It's the S25 Ultra.
Oh, there it is. Look at that.
There it is. Zoomed in a little bit too far.
Are we talking about that on the show, or are you just bragging at this point?
I mean, we can.
It's so boxy.
It is very boxy,
right?
And it's pretty like it's a stark contrast for sure. Like it feels almost too boxy as I paw on it. We don't have to. We've already talked about it.
Yeah, we've talked. Yeah, but still.
But I got it. So.
Oh man, all those
continues.
holes.
I know this is freaking somebody out.
With whatever the fear of holes thing is.
What is it?
Fear of holes is tripophobia. Tripophobia.
Tripophobia.
Tripophobia. Yeah. Refers to the disgust or fear of a pattern of holes. Seeing clusters of holes in foods, flowers, and everyday items can trigger feelings of revulsion. Oh man.
Okay.
It
impacts someone.
Yeah, no, it does. I know someone who has it. Yeah. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that like it would be easy to totally trivialize that. And
sure.
Be like, oh, come on. Like really? Like looking at holes in a phone makes you, feel weird, or I don't know what the response is. But I mean, people obviously have that.
Yeah, sure. It's a legit thing. I
just don't know how deep it goes. Like, is it like
how deep the holes go, or how deep the hole in their soul, or
the hole in their soul? How deep does the hole in their soul go? Yes.
How deep does your love go, Jason? How deep is your love?
Yes. Hey, did you see the or maybe you recommended this to me? Maybe you were the one that told me about this. The Yacht Rock documentary.
I was the one who recommended it to you.
You were okay. Yes, I saw it when I was sick a couple of weeks ago. I saw it. And it was so much fun. I enjoyed it absolutely.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Michael
right?
McDonald, he was everywhere, man.
So he really was. It's amazing. No, not only that, the guys from Toto. Yeah. The guys from Toto played on Thriller. They played on so many records. Yeah,
totally.
So Jason, the next music doc you need to watch is the SNL music doc. Ladies and gentlemen, SNL 50, whatever the music of the show. Yeah. It's about 2 hours long. Questlove directed it. And
it's not just like best performances.
No. It is like it goes deep on the synthesis and the marriage of music and comedy on the show. It talks about some of the best performances. It talks about some of the most controversial. They go into Sinead O'Connor, Elvis Costello, Fear, like all those kind of great moments. They also talk about the role of musicians on the show, like in sketches, and music as something as sketches that incorporate music, right? Like it's very, very good. Yeah,
sounds like my cup of tea.
You will
my cup of Joe.
You will dig it. What color value do we like with this? I got a new light, everybody. So tell me, do you like this, Jason? Or do you like this?
That's looking a little cool.
Or do you like this?
That's looking a little. You look kind of like dead.
There we go.
That's looking overly yellow. Yeah. I don't know. I see. The thing is, I don't know if my display is is a good reference point, but I would say opt for the color balance that your room already has.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know these things. I have the webcam settings. This is why I need Burke. I need Burke to just look at me.
Burke, where are you?
I have webcam settings and I can change the gain.
Yeah, it looks fine to me right now.
Yep. Okay. So I'll stick with that. So,
yeah.
Cool.
Anyone in the chat rooms can weigh in as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I'm kind of going through the same thing. I have this new panel light here that I can put to any color temperature I want. I just that's brightness, but I can switch it, and like I can go very yellow or I can go very cold.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm also matching it to my hue light here.
Right.
But they don't speak the same language. It's not like they both say like 3200.
The light I added here has got the 3 different modes, right? But then the light I've got up here is just like a diffused, more yellow light, right? And so, I don't know.
I mean, I think the main thing is you want to try your best to have them all the same.
Yeah.
You know, but so if you've got one cool light and then you've got a yellow light in the room, then it's going to look weird.
Oh, so should I turn the yellow light off? Or let's do that.
Well, not necessarily, because if you've got them both set to yellow and then you just color balance in the camera.
I could set them both to yellow. I could do that.
You set them both to the same, and then you adjust how that color is interpreted in your camera and webcam settings. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you would try and set the same setting in.
There you go, like that. There you go.
But yeah,
how's that,
folks in the chat room? Tell us how Ron looks.
Do you like how this looks or how it looked before? Camera 1, camera 2.
I know, right?
Camera 2.
See, that looks better to me, but I don't know if it's my display.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And it's I'm glad that like back earlier when we were doing the show years ago, I had the Mac adjusting the display at nighttime, so I couldn't. I didn't know what I was seeing, right?
Yeah.
So
right. Yeah. Totally.
Yep. So.
Define.
Right. Well, Sean says looks okay.
Sean says looks okay. Some are saying, different.
Pack NW says slightly blown out. Not that blown out, I don't think.
I mean,
it could be more blown out. There you go. See,
that just looks flat to me, though. Yeah. But
it's like literally like if I adjust it like a millimeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In webcam settings or
on
the settings, totally. It's not a fine tooth comb.
Yep.
Yeah. And I listened to, so I'm using the Shure, once again, I'm using the Shure M4V Plus or whatever. You know, looks like this. You see it in a lot of, it's similar to the one you see in a lot of podcasts. And I used it last week, and it's interesting because I'm so used to hearing my voice through a Howell, after years and this one sounds more like a duller to me. The Howell sounds a lot more like clarity.
There you go. How do we like that? I feel like that looks okay to me.
Yeah,
playing with the white balance.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we do the show? Because
no, this is important. We need to stress about this for the next.
Not so much.
No, in the grand scheme of things, this probably doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
What matters is what we did last week, which is we got done pretty early, and I was done with post-production pretty early as a result, and it was bliss. It was awesome. I was like, oh, we need more of this. Okay.
All right. Cool.
And for folks just tuning in, it's just Ron and I tonight.
Yes.
Wynn is in chat, but she's not joining us on the show.
Yeah, and Michelle is traveling, I believe. Yeah, so
is gallivanting.
So we got old school. We're gonna save it for the thing. Am I doing the open or are you doing the open? I did the open last week.
Yeah, I got the open.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, let's do it. Okay. Wait, real quickly. Breaking news from Wynn. I sick.
What?
She just said I'm sick.
Oh, yeah.
I sick.
Yeah, the sickies are going around.
Yep.
No fun. My wife is sick right now. Woke up yesterday not feeling great. Everybody in our house has now been sick, so
been going around the whole country. So
for sure. Okay, right. Are you gonna do the? No, I mean I don't care.
Yeah, I can do it. Do you want to do it?
I'll do the intro and I can switch it too. I don't care.
Okay. See, I'm gonna be tweaking this camera all night. Mo said I'm green. I don't
because everybody's gonna tell you something slightly different because maybe their monitors aren't perfectly calibrated. I don't know. All right, we are going to just go for it. So I'm going to remove you. Right. Removed. And now I'm just going to keep Ron locked out of the show the entire time. I'm just going to do a solo show. And he can't do anything about it. If he tries and add himself to the stage, I'm going to remove him automatically. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Android Faithful, your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the world of Android. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Howell, joined by... We can't hear you. You're still muted.
I am Ron Richards.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
And it is the expansive world of Android. Here we are, two bros talking Android this week as we were looking forward to the return of our dearly beloved co-host Wintut Dao, but she is not feeling well.
Yeah.
So she's getting another week off. She'll be back next week. Fingers crossed. Although if you're watching the video, she's in chat. So if you want to talk to her, live stream folks, you can talk to her.
But next week I'm out.
Oh, come on.
It's like, it's musical chairs. The following week, the 25th, so at least at this stage,
fingers
all
crossed,
4 of us will be on.
Yeah. So, and Mishal is out on assignment. So unfortunately he's not joining us as well. And Jason and I were like, let's just do two bros.
Yeah.
Let's
we're like,
do
do
it.
you want to book a guest? I'm like, dude, why not? Sometimes it's fun to just do a Ron Jason podcast.
Exactly. So, it's fun. So, and we got so much fun stuff to talk about it because we're in this weird spot in Android, in the Android world, where like it's post CES, post Samsung, pre Mobile World Congress. You know, like there's stuff that's being teased. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's leaking and all that stuff that's coming out. But there's a lot of little, there's stuff, always stuff going on in the world of Android, especially these recent years. It's been nonstop, but there's no like last week, there's no like, oh my God, we're going to spend 20 minutes talking about this, so.
Yeah. No, there's a lot to look forward to today. And I'm just now realizing I didn't, well, this is behind the curtain stuff, but I meant to finish the patron stuff and you finished it. So thank you.
Yeah, I dropped it in. Yeah, I saw the buttons. No, sorry, it's all good.
I forgot.
That's all right.
So like and to tie it back into what you were just saying, I don't know that I've ever been this out of my mind busy with Android related stuff. Like
it's crazy.
I feel like there's so much stuff happening right now. Devices that we can and cannot talk about.
Yep.
Events coming up. First time going to Mobile World Congress. I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks. Like I've got so much on the pipeline. It's really kind of challenging to kind of keep up with it all.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of sad that Mishal's not here because I love making him wince when I'm like, oh, it's a quiet week. There's not much going on. And then he always yells at me about the number of things in Android 16 that he still needs to write about. But yeah, so, but there's a lot to talk about. And if we want, we can get right into it.
Yeah, we should.
We definitely should. Because talking about upcoming events and things like that, here we are. It is February 11th, 2025. That's the day that we're recording this episode. And I don't know if we've ever been notified of the actual date of Google I/O this early. But sure enough, today in a whirlwind, first Google teased Google I/O 2025 with, they've been doing a lot of these interactive little puzzles and games and stuff like that over the years. And so they dropped the Google I/O 2025 game called Prism Shift, a cool little puzzle that you can do on their website.
When you say those words.
Yeah, Prism Shift. And then literally that news dropped, and before I even got to play with the puzzle, I received an invite from Google to Google I/O.
So did I.
And so did Jason, and so did Mishal, and so we were all excited. And then I was like, oh man, so we're gonna have to like talk about Google I/O now that we know the date, but the date's not public. But then sure enough, immediately after that, Google just posted the date on the Google blog. And
I'm imagining, because I think they said like a certain number of people have to figure it out before it is revealed or whatever. And
so I guess they figured it out quickly or not, but so
it happens pretty quick.
So yeah, so on the Google keyword blog, they posted, save the date. Google I/O is May 20th to 21st, 2025. I actually have that link, Jason, right under the 9 to 5 one. So if you go to the website io.google, which is very funny because IO is also a TLD, like my company Scorbit is scorbit.io, so that's kind of that cracks me up.
.io. No.
But io.google has got all the details of it, and they're getting everybody ready for Google I/O 2025.
2 days.
So I did register. My registration was accepted. Jason, you registered. We know Mishal registered. Unfortunately, Wynn's not going to be able to join us because it's the same time as Kotlin Conf.
Which is weird to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Which is a bummer.
I don't know if it should be weird to me, but like we were chatting with Wynn in Discord today, and I was trying to figure out, like, is this the first time that like a major Android developer conference like Kotlin Conf has conflicted with Google's majorist Android development conference of Google I/O.
But here's the thing, Jason. Google I/O is not an Android developer conference anymore.
Yeah,
it's a Google developer conference, and no much more. And nothing shows that more than I was doing my registration, and at the bottom of the registration, one of the questions in the survey was, "What are you interested in learning about?" And it was Android. It was like it was AI, search, Android, or web. Yeah. Right. So clearly there's the tracks that are going. And yes, there's going to be Android there. And of course we're going to be there. And we're excited to hear all the developments that are coming from Android. But it is one facet of everything that's Google doing from a developer standpoint. So I'm not surprised. And I could see why somebody like Win and some of the more hardcore Android developers might choose to go to Kotlin Conference, where there's more opportunities for learning, more opportunities for, those kind of discussions where Google I/O might be too big picture. The fact that Kotlin Conf has been announced for many, many months, you would think, and I know booking the Shoreline Amphitheater has got to be a mess. Historically, the past couple of years, Google I/O has been in early May. In fact, it's the past couple of years, it's been on or around Florence Ion and my shared birthday on May 9th. Right. So I'm
Google
relieved
did that
on
purpose, by the way.
I'm relieved that for the first time in 2 years, I can celebrate my birthday with my family.
I guess it's better this way.
Yeah, exactly. Not that I love my San Francisco family. I love them so much, but yeah. So, but either way, we'll be there. We'll be covering it. We're excited. We're gonna, we're gonna talk to Google about what we can do there. We historically we always have great conversations with folks. I would love to be able to, probably not buy, but at least cheers a beer with Dave Burke and wish him luck in his new role or whatever. If he's at the show.
I wonder if he's going to be there, because I know his role now has nothing to do with Android, and in fact, his role, what is it? It has something to do with like, is it health?
It's health. Yeah, it's health stuff. Yeah.
God, I mean, I just kind of think like it's probably not gonna. This might be his first I/O in a decade that he doesn't have to attend.
I will miss the Dave Burke demo. That's for sure. It's gonna be those are big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill. So Google I/O May 20th, May 21st. We will be there. So start the countdown. So
it's interesting. Yeah, the whole the whole conflicting conference thing. Like, I get it that developers would possibly prefer to go to something like Kotlin Conf, because it offers something more potent for developers now compared to kind of where Google I/O is maybe. But I could almost guarantee you that given the choice, they would do both if it had lined up differently.
The one thing I've learned in life and in events and in marketing, all this stuff, is that you can't make everyone happy all the time.
Can't make everyone, so true. And in content.
Yeah, exactly.
In content creation, you definitely can't make everyone happy either.
Yeah.
9 to 5 Google saw an internal Google email that invites its employees to dog food to test out an AI mode in Google search. And so, we've seen AI integrated into Google search with the AI, the snippets up at the top and everything, and, with mixed results. Well, one big thing that's happening right now in the world of AI are tools that integrate the web, that also integrate kind of like AI that is trained to be more thoughtful, in air quotes, more research oriented, that sort of stuff. And so, OpenAI has its deep research, and Perplexity, which I talk about all the time, has been doing this for a while as well. And Google kind of has it with Notebook LM. And in fact, they just opened up Notebook LM to a lower price tier. So if you're on month plan, you get Notebook LM Pro. So that's kind of a research tool. But then it sounds like this is also along those lines, more like integrated into Google search, let's say. And it's a customized version of Gemini 2.0, advanced reasoning and thinking capabilities. Sundar Pichai had hinted, I think yesterday, that 2025 was going to be, quote, one of the biggest years for search innovation yet. I don't think he's wrong. I think there's a lot of change happening to search right now. And obviously it has to do with AI and seeing the direction of this stuff going into this kind of like research oriented direction. And kind of focusing on that. It's going to be really interesting to see, but I would love to play around with this to see how good it is.
I thought this was really interesting because at last year's I/O, they introduced the AI search, the AI overview and search results, which I had been playing with from Google Labs, and then they rolled it out, and then they immediately then kind of pulled it back or did a kind of thing because some of those results weren't what people expected or what they would wanted, and the whole quagmire of AI results. And it has been since rolled back out, but it's safe to say that was not a smooth rollout. So I wonder if that required them to be like, all right, what is the next iteration of AI search? And this is clearly what it is. And and given the time and the talented developers and stuff like that, you hope that it shows an improvement over what previously had come out. We're going to talk a little bit about Google and AI search results in a moment, but thanks to you patrons supporting the show at patreon.com/AndroidFaithful. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what this looks like for sure.
Yeah.
So
agreed. Yeah, I'm super curious.
Yep. All right. Well, the other story that's been bubbling along, which we unearthed thanks to an email a couple of weeks ago that there was something fishy going on with the Pixel 4a battery with the January Pixel 4a update. What a mess.
What a mess.
And over the past couple of weeks, there's been more and more coverage and stuff trickling out from this. And I really wanted to revisit it because, Jason, you were right. It is a mess. And kudos go out to the folks at Android Authority, Camilla Wojciechowska. I mispronounced that. I'm sorry, Camilla. Did a great summary of this, and I encourage you, if anybody has a Pixel 4a and you're curious what's going on with it, or just in general curious what's going on with it, go read it because it's a very long post. But basically, the key takeaways from this is that Google rolled out, they whether they hastily rolled it out or quickly rolled out, but either way, they rolled out an update for Google 4a that basically kneecapped the battery. It's looking like it reduces the capacity to around 44%, which basically cuts it in the maximum charging speed in half. In addition, they've also disabled adaptive charging and the ETA for charging time. So you know how you plug in your phone, like your phone will be full in 2 hours, or whatever it is. They eliminated that. And furthermore, they pushed this out as an emergency maintenance release, which means they're trying to get it out as quickly as possible. And at the same time, they're encouraging everybody through a system message that they recommend you replace your battery on the Pixel 4a through a free battery replacement, which I'll give them credit for that. They're not charging for it, or take a credit to go buy a new phone. And when this first happened, we were thinking, is this some way to obsolescence-ize the 4A and get people to upgrade and move it up? But turns out, and in this post on Android Authority, they go into the details, and actually a gentleman by the name of Hector Martin, who's known for his work on Asahi Linux, which basically brings Linux to Macs, dug into the code and dug into the kernel update to figure out what was going on. And what it comes down to is the fact that the Pixel 4a had two different types of batteries in the device itself. There were batteries, they were made by the same company, a company called Sunwuda Electric, but they have battery cells from different vendors. And those different vendors are AmpereX Technology Limited, which have good batteries, and then another battery cells from a company called Lishen, Lishen, and the Lishen batteries are the problem. And for whatever reason, there's something going on with the voltage to the Lishen batteries over time and things like that. And so in doing this update dropped the maximum voltage down to 3.95 volts from 4.45 volts. But in doing that, by cutting off that 0.5 volts, it is dropping 44% of the usable charge for the phones, and thus making, as many of you who have written in and told us, these phones basically unusable, right?
Yeah,
so
half.
Yeah, so it's, we won't know what happened or why or what's causing them to be doing this and to do it. And I don't think they'll ever explain it. But
I think that's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't know why they don't explain it. And I think that's the real key kind of problem here is it all goes back to communication. If Google had been forthright about this and said, this is why, because the way it feels right now is we're gonna do this and we're not gonna tell you why it is and you're just gonna take it. It feels kind of malicious, even though it's probably not. But if you have that phone and you're going through this, and then what you're met with after the confusion stage is oh, they just want us to like replace the battery or maybe not, because if applicable, they say, or whatever. There's just too much like unanswered questions. And I know that maybe in a situation like this, it would normally be that Google wouldn't have to or feel compelled to share the information. But it just kind of has like a sneaky feeling to it that rubs me the wrong way. And I'm sure if you have this phone and you're going through this, probably much more you than me.
Yep.
I don't know. Just feels weird. It's weird. I feel like Google has been reasonably upfront when things like this come up, but with this, they're being very silent about it, and I don't understand.
And there's
why.
there's got to be business reasons for that silence, and there's got to be something going on, and there's some chatter in the live
agreement, or
there's some discussion going on in the live chat right now about lawyers are probably involved, and who knows, and that's why I don't think we'll ever find out. And I do think it's admirable of them to be offering either the credit for a new phone or the free battery replacement, but it is left with a mystery of like why is this happening, especially the people who love their phone. In fact, we're going to hear from somebody in the emails later at the end of the show about why they love the 4A. I have a 4A. It's funny because I have a friend who has a friend who's a Luddite, and he's like, I just need to get him a phone. Mm-hmm. He needs to have a modern phone. Do you have a phone? Like he doesn't want an iPhone. He doesn't want a top of the model Android. And so I dug into my box of phones. I found it on my old 4A. I'm like, I could wipe this and give it to him. And it was literally when this started happening. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So I ended up hooking him up, Jason, actually with the Nothing CMF phone.
Oh, okay.
Which the in addition to being a Luddite does not want to give money to Apple or Google and loves the fact he's giving it to a startup like Nothing. I was like, cool, win-win.
Well, there you go.
The
right customer for the right company.
But Google definitely has been stepping on a lot of rakes, and this is one of them. And we're going to talk about another one in a little bit. But
it's just weird. It just has a weird taste to it.
Yep.
Well, beyond that, we've got a quick article that Mishal, if he was here, he'd be talking about, telling us a little bit about Android 16 Beta 1, which Mishal was digging through and found strings for time zone change. So I wouldn't classify this as a major discovery necessarily, but what it is when you switch time zones, you move through time zones with your device. Now, at least after this change, potentially rolls out, you would receive a notification that your time zone has been automatically updated. So it would say your time zone changed, and it would also tell you which time zone you are now in. So that's that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, I guess I always know that I've switched to a new time zone. Maybe it would be useful to know which time zone I'm in.
It might be. I mean, it's funny because it's like I often I will get on a plane and put my phone in airplane mode, and then when we land, take it out of airplane mode, and then the time just adjusts, and I'm like, I'm in a new time zone. But I guess there's a scenario or a world when you're driving, or when you cross that date line, But I would feel like you would see the time change.
Yeah.
It would be like, you would recognize. But I guess knowing that you're changing time zone, I mean, in the same way that Google Calendar detects, hey, you're in California, should I change the time zone on your calendar? So at least an acknowledgement is nice. And, so.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So there you go. If you're a big time traveler, or if you're a time traveler.
I was going to say, if you're a time traveler, let us know.
If you're a very large time traveler,
let us know what happens with the 4A battery drama.
Yeah, we want to know how that resolves. And so many other things that we won't talk about.
Yeah. All right. So also in the news, there's so many news stories to talk about. We can't talk about them all. That's why we go to you, the supporting patrons of Android Faithful, at patreon.com/Android Faithful, where every week you all get to help us out and pick a story for us to talk about on the show. And this week you took the bait big time. But that's over at patreon.com/Android Faithful. Anybody who signs up there can vote at any paid level. But if you sign up at Patreon, if you can get an ad-free version of the podcast, which everybody loves. Nobody wants to listen to ads. You can get a t-shirt, you can get stickers, all that cool stuff. And we really thank everybody's support. In fact, I want to give a quick shout out and thank Jared White and Francisco Herrera for supporting Android Faithful over on Patreon. We love you so much. Yeah. And so over on the Patron Pick this week, we had 3 stories that you all could choose from. That was joined by a little romantic bug droid that longtime listener listener and a Bug Droid contributor, Kyle Veach, I can never pronounce her name, I'm sorry. But Kyle submitted a little Cupid Bug Droid there for you, which is always nice to see. Yeah, exactly.
It's a solid reminder that I really need to do something for Valentine's Day.
I know. I think I did my stuff. I ran out today. I got cards. Now I gotta buy a card from me. I gotta buy a card from the kids. I gotta
it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Anyway,
it is a thing.
Anyway, so I hope your Valentine's Day is all taken care of, because my wife does not want a Cupid Bug Droid. She wants something else. She wants flowers. Anyway, all right, so we got 3 stories that you all could have voted on. The story that came in last was written by Michelle also. 7% of you voted for the fact that you can set a custom wake word for Bixby on the Galaxy S25, but will anyone care? And guess what?
Obviously not.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared about Bixby. Coming in second with 31% of the vote was Amazon isn't giving up on Android for the Fire TV just yet, which is a very fascinating story, which we probably should talk about down the road, because it looks like Fire TV is still going to be running Android, not like about a year ago when we heard that they were switching, but there you go. But the story that won 62% of the vote was the fact that Google's AI Super Bowl ad fiasco somehow gets worse. I'm sure many of you that are listening or watching have been following the story, but essentially, of course, at the Super Bowl this past weekend, Google had an ad to promote Gemini and to promote Google devices and all things like that. And as you know, when I was a kid, you had to watch the Super Bowl to see the commercials. Now, apparently, you just have to be on the internet a week before the game and you can see all the commercials. And so the early release of the Google Super Bowl commercial featured a moment that seemed as if Gemini hallucinated an incorrect fact about cheese. The example in the ad is focused on a Wisconsin cheese store called Wisconsin Cheese Mart, and Gemini generated the description copy for their website and included the fact that Gouda makes up, quote, 50 to 60% of the world's cheese consumption. They released the ad. Everyone would go, whoa, time out. That's not true. And they pointed to all the facts. Google said, oh, you're right. And they pulled that out of the ad. So you think it would stop there, but nope. Yeah. Guess what? Gemini did not create any of the content in that ad that's shown, because that specific fact was, thanks to the Wayback Machine over the Internet Archive, that exact fact was posted on the Wisconsin Cheese Mart website back in 2020.
Okay.
And Gemini came out in 2023. So there's no way that Gemini could have generated their description copy. There's the Jason showing the Wayback Machine showing the moment. So that pulled the thread on the sweater to make Google basically admit to the fact that no, Gemini didn't hallucinate a wrong fact. We copy and pasted the wrong fact from a website. And
AI isn't the only thing that's inaccurate in their research. Right?
Exactly. Humans are inaccurate. And this also further, we've talked about this at I.O. We've talked about this in a lot of Google's rollouts. A lot of Google's marketing materials are completely manufactured to illustrate the experience. Right. And clearly they're trying to, in 30 seconds, sell the concept of Gemini as an AI assistant generating the website. Look at what it can do. Don't actually use it. We're gonna, the ad wizards who are making the commercial are gonna manipulate it to give the effect that they want, and they've copied and pasted false information. Right. So on one hand, great, Gemini didn't hallucinate a fact. On the other hand, your ad, I don't want to say it was misleading, because I understand. I work in entertainment. I've worked in production. I understand how these things go. You can't make an ad with you just can't make an ad with the technology. You gotta fake it, right? And so I don't know, Jason. What did you think of this? I mean, this
I'm so used to AI getting stuff wrong that I kind of would have preferred that AI be the thing that got that wrong. But to find out that it was just a person that did sloppy research or whatever.
Well, the chat room is screaming the fact that this is obviously worst. But it's true. And there is the comment that a lot of the AI, at least the Google results that we get in search, like we talked about earlier, and Gemini, is copy and paste, and even from ChatGPT, I'll give them credit. I've identified mistakes in AI responses, and I've traced back. We did it on the show a year ago. Remember when I ran an article about iFanboy, and it came up with a complete wrong thing about one of my co-hosts having cancer, and I found the website that it pulled the information from. It lacks that context.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. I mean, the sad thing about this is that this just is another, stepping on a rake for Google and looking bad in terms of doing it. Cause it's like, your AI didn't even make the ad, but also if you know anything about making ads, of course it didn't. They're going to manipulate it. Like,
what it would have actually been better is if Google did all of this and, ended up getting called out and pulled it and then revealed that, oh yeah, we actually did that on purpose because, kind of poking fun at ourselves for the previous cheese AI incident, and then there would be some self-awareness around it.
A little bit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, embarrassing for Google and a laugh for all of us.
And we'll all forget
poor
about
Gemini.
it in a week.
Yeah, exactly. We move on. So
that's how it works.
Yep. All right. Well, let's go wrap it up for the news, right?
Thank you, patrons. Patreon.com/AndroidFaithful. We love you.
We sure do.
And let's take a break, and then we will get into some hardware news. All right, we got some interesting hardware news to talk about this week, starting with Asus. Unveiling the Zenfone 12 Ultra for, let's see here, is this potentially for worldwide or no? I don't know that it's a global release yet. Anyways, Snapdragon 8 Elite, 16 gigs of RAM, LPDDR5X, 512 gigs of UFS 4.0 storage. So wow, it's packing some heat right out of the gate. Camera system with a hardware-based stabilizer along with software, so good stabilization potential with a gimbal, kind of an integrated gimbal. Plenty of AI features because this is 2025, and the SoC, the Snapdragon 8 Elite, has a 40% increase in NPU performance. So that AI processing on the device is going to get some really great processing power in order to approach that. On device, you've got the Llama 3 8B model for things like text summaries. You've got an AI call translator, and that works both on the phone as well as VoIP calls. And 5,500 milliamp hour battery, 65 watt wired charging, 15 watt wireless, 3.5 millimeter Courage port. I like that we still call it Courage Port.
I know, it's very funny. But and go back to the releases. So it's out today in Europe, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. Okay. And it's going to be launching in Japan, but not in the U.S. At least.
Not in the U.S. We never get the fun phones.
Yeah, I mean,
starts at 1,099 euros.
Yeah,
but I bet it looks like it has a nice camera system compared to some of the clips they
tell you, man, is there any more of a like a march through the industry than the Snapdragon 8 Elite?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just like every one after it's dominating the marketplace right now. I mean, I get that it's a great new processor. It's handling the AI stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But Snapdragon's on a roll with this chipset, man. Like,
yeah, apparently so.
Yep.
Apparently so. I mean, you get a phone that's running it, and you're almost guaranteed to use that phone for a while and be like, oh wow, that thing screams. Like it's screaming. Yeah, yep, I just got the S25 Ultra today. Like I just took it out of the box. Wow, look at that! It's so pretty.
Look at that! I like how it looks purple, blue.
Yeah,
like
but
as
it's
you move
not
with the
at
light.
all.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just reflecting things off the screen. But that's, I guess, how reflective it is.
But
it is. It runs that. It has a processor that's modified just for the Galaxy S25 series, and that's what everybody says. Is like, man, this thing
is snappy.
It's a powerful beast.
Yeah. That the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is so the whole Samsung Galaxy, they're just so boxy. They're like the Volvo. Boxy. They're like the Volvo, the 80s Volvos of phones.
Yeah. Well, and I mean the Pixels have kind of gone boxy, but then they've also gone kind of slightly rounded at the edges.
Yeah.
And this one, like when I'm feeling it, it does. You know what? It's kind of giving me old school Sony phone vibes. Sony's used to be really like almost too sharp, boxy. Yep. Like you pick up a Sony phone sometimes, and it's like, oh, it's creasing my hand. It hurts.
Yep, I remember those.
And this is kind of giving those vibes.
Yep.
But yeah, it's pretty different from the S24 Ultra.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm curious to play around with this. I'm going on a ski trip next week, so I won't be on the show, but this will be my phone while I'm away, taking snowy pictures.
Snowy pictures.
So I'll definitely be putting it to the test.
Very cool. Well, while you're away, you're going to miss the launch of the OnePlus Watch 3.
Yes.
You know, very shame on you, Jason.
This is one of the devices that I'm looking forward to in 2025 Like this is
well, guess what?
Specific.
Well, guess what? It's coming out next week. So OnePlus announced that February 18th at 8 a.m. Eastern, they will be unveiling the OnePlus Watch 3, where they are touting ultimate health, unstoppable battery, which is nice. And then our buddy Ben Schoon over at 95 Google wrote up about not only about the launch, but the fact there's been a lot of speculation about the little crown on the top of it, and it will actually be functional this time around. The rotating crown will actually work, which is cool. This is referring to the fact that the rotating crown was on the OnePlus 2 and did nothing. Right? So you can use it to interact with any of the apps or anything like that. But now the OnePlus Watch 3, the crown will interact with Wear OS, making, quote, navigating through apps and menus efficient and intuitive. The OnePlus Watch has been, I mean, I've got the OnePlus Watch 2. I've got it right here. Like, that's my go-to watch that I wear when I need to over the Pixel Watch 2. They're doing a great job with these watches. And so, Jason, why are you so excited about this one?
Well, I'm excited about it because when I look back at last year, it's one of the devices that was, really near the top of the list of the devices that stood out for me. I mean, as far as Android wearables, wearables, the OnePlus Watch 3 is right up there at the top of the game with any of the others that are, the Pixel Watch 3, the latest Samsung Galaxy. And I think part of the reason why it is because they really laid their, they stuck their flag in the ground on battery life, but not just battery life with a bunch of sacrifices, battery life with everything that you need, and so when you're getting 4 to 5 days of battery running full Android Wear or Wear OS, whatever the heck Google calls it nowadays, I still get confused. But I mean, I think that's really impressive. And of course, they have the different battery technology, the silicon carbon nanostack battery inside in order to do that. So I just think that's a really cool differentiator for that watch that most other Android Wear watches are not doing. So they instantly stand out there. And yeah, the rotating crown might not be the biggest thing in the world, but on the 2, it was just kind of puzzling. It was like, why do you do that? Yeah. Why do you rotate and do nothing?
Well, my thought is that they must have put it on with the intention. Yeah. And for whatever reason, didn't get it to work, and then it's a ticking. Excuse the pun. It's a ticking clock till the next phone comes out. So they just punted it till the 3, like that.
Yeah, who knows?
From a product management standpoint, like I could believe that over anything else.
Yeah, totally. So, anyways, I'm excited for it purely because the 2 is so good. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, we'll follow it up. Let's see how you do that. And, OnePlus is doing a lot of really great things right now. So
they're good. They're firing off.
I have to imagine it's going to be a good watch. Yeah. We'll see.
All right, let's get into some foldables. I'm so excited for this stuff.
Yeah. So, okay. This one took me a few read-throughs just to kind of like understand kind of what the deal is here. Huawei posted a teaser on X touting a, quote, innovative product launch launch.
I would attend a product launch. I would totally attend that. Huawei.
Innovative product launch, which is a pretty open-ended, statement to make on X. It's like, okay, all right, innovative, whatever. But when you see the invite, let me go ahead and allow this thing, and it'll show it. It's pretty obvious. It's hinting at the trifold, which the trifold is not something new for Huawei. They had this last year with the Mate XT, right? Was it called the Mate XT last year?
I think it was.
When they announced it. Yeah. Anyways, many are wondering if this has to do with a global launch of their trifold design. Ooh. And the image kind of makes that at least somewhat obvious that it has something to do with the trifold design. The teaser says, quote, "Be part of the extraordinary as we unveil the ultimate." And that final part, the ultimate, could be referring to the Mate XT, aka the Mate XT Ultimate design. Huawei is not confirming. I doubt, is Huawei even allowed to bring their phones in?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, what does a global launch mean? And Huawei
global doesn't always mean US, right? Automatically, but does mean outside of the current, markets that they launched in last year. So, yeah.
And so Win in the chat room reminds me that if they did a product launch for the Huawei Mate XT, it would be tacos, because the trifold phone, when folded out, does look like a taco holder. And I stand behind that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, so. I love it. The product lunch needs to happen.
I want a product lunch. I
want an innovative product lunch.
Yeah, I can't. Everything that I know about Huawei says that they are still banned from the U.S. and all the stuff that's going on government-wise, stuff like that. I'd be shocked if they were doing that. But they could be doing everybody but the U.S. global launch. So
right.
Yeah,
global launch.
Yeah.
If somebody hasn't already filed that away as a title, then someone needs to get on it. I'm sure you have.
Exactly.
Everybody watching live, but please make that happen.
So, okay. But in the other exciting fold, in addition to trifold, the other exciting one that we're tracking is the Oppo Find N5, which is on track to be the thinnest foldable ever. More details are starting to eke out over at GSM Arena. They showed us that the unfolded Oppo Find, I can't say it, Oppo Find N5 has a very, very minimal crease in the middle, like almost unrecognizable crease at all, especially when compared next to a Samsung with that big old fat crease in between it.
Check it out. It's almost like it's a waveform, and right here it's clipped or something.
Right, yeah,
and
exactly.
then here it's a tiny little...
It looks smooth. It looks smooth as butter. I'm telling you, it does look like
almost smooth as butter. There's a little bit of a Moon Patrol kind of
nice
ditch
bump
there that you have to jump over.
Fun fact about Moon Patrol, Jason.
Moon Patrol, you got to jump over that, otherwise you'll wreck. But if you hit this, you're hitting the wall and you're gonna die.
My Moon Patrol, one of my favorite arcade games. Fun fact about that was the very first arcade game to enable the insert quarter to continue.
Oh,
that allows you to continue your game. Yep, that was
I've heard that before.
Yeah, the innovation of Moon Patrol. Very good. But back to the Oppo. So it's got a very minimal crease. But then we're finding out that it's coming out on February 20th. So they're launching it not this Thursday, but next Thursday, February 20th. They're going to be launching it both the Chinese and global models. It was shared on Oppo's social media channels. They're going to be hosting a press event in Singapore that starts at 7 p.m. local time. So that will be 6 a.m. Eastern. And they're promoting it with the wonderful kind of graphic, kind of promotional graphic that says "slim yet powerful," and that thing looks so thin. It is unbelievable that is a foldable. That's how thin this phone is.
Yeah.
More materials kind of came out to show that it's going to have two colorways. It looks like there's going to be a black version as well as a white version, more ivory kind of with the little metal accents. And what's so exciting about the Oppo Find N5, it's got the Hasselblad camera system as we're used to all that sort of stuff. What's not exciting about it is that they're referring to it as the Oppo AI phone. But whatever. But what's even more exciting is that this is basically going to be the OnePlus Fold 2, folks. So if knowing how Oppo and OnePlus are sister companies and share technology, and the Oppo releases always kind of lead ahead of the OnePlus releases, this is what we can expect. Knock on wood, we're hoping this is what we can expect for the OnePlus Open 2, which would be fantastic because that is a dang thin phone.
Heck yeah. Yep. And just to celebrate,
here's a little Moon Patrol.
Play a little Moon Patrol on a YouTube.
Very good.
See, anytime he has to jump, this driver has the rocks. Maybe not. Now that's like that crease that just passed by. That's like the creases we're used to. Yeah,
Yep.
so is that. But every once in a while, you get the tiny little crease, and that's the Oppo.
The little one. Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're excited to see the Oppo Find N5 out in the world, and that gets us that much closer to the OnePlus Open 2. It looks like a very, very nice thin phone.
It does. Looks very sharp. And actually, you know, it's probably not any thicker than the Galaxy S25.
Yeah, folded.
Ultra, right?
I mean,
folded. Unfolded.
I mean,
right?
There's no fold on the Samsung Galaxy.
Folded.
It just the folded version looks as thick as a regular smartphone.
Yes,
which is just
there
bananas.
we go.
Bananas. So yeah. Oh man. The thing is that like I've been on record. I love the OnePlus Open. I love the Pixel Fold 2. I want a book style foldable. But I haven't been able to make the jump to get off the Pixel train. Maybe the OnePlus Open 2 will be the one that does it for me. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
I have a good feeling about that. I was kind of hoping that maybe they'd have presence at Mobile World Congress.
Yeah.
So I would love to review some of those before they become OnePlus phones.
For sure.
We got some app news. I think we've now rattled through hardware. So
yes, we have. We went through the hardware journey together. So.
Yes. And now we are into our app news, including Google Messages, which might someday get third-party video call integration, including WhatsApp. And essentially, there's an APK Insight, of course. Android Authority does this. That reveals a coming integration that kind of brings it into the experience. So if you're in Google Messages and the person that you're messaging with also has a WhatsApp account tied to that phone number, then the little video camera could pull it down and boom.
Which is like, I mean, so just use WhatsApp. Like I'm just like, if you're, if you're both on WhatsApp, why are you texting in Google Messages? Why aren't you texting on WhatsApp?
Maybe you don't know, or I don't know.
I mean that's it would be neater if Google Messages allowed you to message people on WhatsApp, and if it was truly, just another way to connect. I mean, it is neat, because not having a FaceTime equivalent on Android. Because we all know, Duet and Allo and all the stuff that never really took. Duo. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The my video call platform of choice is WhatsApp. But it's like I'm already texting with people on WhatsApp that I'm using the video call with. I don't think of a scenario of anywhere where I'm video calling someone who I'm messaging in Google Messages. But this is neat nonetheless. So
yeah, I mean, we could, so we did sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah. and I'll give them credit. The updates don't seem to stop coming with Google Messages. They are really putting a lot of development into it. So I'm not gonna criticize them for actually doing cool stuff like this. So yeah. There
you go. And then encrypted call to AndroidAuthority.com in the video from Google Messages via WhatsApp. It's kind of confusing, actually.
It is, right? Yeah.
But that would be a big deal if suddenly Android Messages or Google Messages started getting like interoperable with like all different kinds of messaging platforms. If Google Messages just kind of by default became the Trillium.
I mean, it would be neat, right?
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, if it could bridge the gap, right? Yeah.
This would be a first step potentially.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't ranted about it in a while, but the number of ways that people can get in touch with me now drives me bananas. And having to keep track of, I talked to this person here and I talked to this person there, and like the list of messaging, whether it's on Instagram DMs or if on Slack or Discord or Google Messages or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or it's brutal. So.
It's dizzying, and it's been so like it's a hell that we have lived in for many years.
Yes, it sure has.
And it hasn't gone anywhere. And I don't know that it ever will. Apparently, this is just how we do things.
Oh, well, we'll do what we can. All right. So Mishal did a write-up on AndroidFaithful.com last week for a new feature rolling out to Google Photos, which you're excited to hear from the folks at Google. But basically, with all the concern about AI and what is AI generated and what isn't and all that sort of stuff, Google announced that if you edit images with Reimagine, with the Reimagine feature in Google Photos, your AI edited photos will now have an invisible watermark that's made with Synth ID technology, so that folks using Reimagine will be able to you'll be able to identify if it is truly AI generated or not, thanks to this invisible watermark, which these sort of safeguards are just needed in this post AI world where we need to know, is something real or isn't it? And the way this will work, and there's a demonstration video in there, that Google search, when searching an image, can see that invisible watermark and flag for the viewer's side of it to know that this was an AI generated image. Which is interesting, and that will come up. You can see the watermark by tapping the About This Image tab in Google Search when you search an image through Google Lens or Circle to Search. So,
yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean it's important. I am happy that efforts like this exist to build into the tools, to be able to give people the tools to be able to identify when something is generated. I mean the downside. Well, it's not really a downside of this. It's just a fact or a reality that there are potentially many ways around this. And so it's not perfect and it's not, going to identify everything. But if it's Google, really making sure that they're identifying things that are created with Google tools, then it'll probably work pretty well. And they should all be doing this to some degree, in my opinion.
What gets me is I know we've heard Google talk about the AI protections they're putting in and stuff like that, and the AI watermarking of text. I don't know how that works.
I don't know how that works either.
Yeah,
totally. Well, and there's tools that are like, just run it through here, and we can tell you with a certain percentage of authority that this was generated with AI. It's like, really? Well, I mean, people could write that too. Like, there is no 100% on that stuff. So, and that's kind of the challenge.
Yep.
So anyways, Michelle also wrote about an app that you might want to know about if you want to use Samsung smart tags with devices that aren't Galaxy devices. Because if you didn't know, their smart tags only work with Galaxy devices until now. Michelle wrote about a new app called UTag that allows for any Android device to work with Samsung smart tags. Does have a few caveats though. It's free to download, but it requires a patched version of SmartThings to function, because the original SmartThings app actually checks to see if the device that this is running on is a Galaxy device. And so it's almost like you need to get a patched version of the SmartThings app in order, so that it doesn't do that anymore. The good news is the app does, helps you with this process. So there's that. You can use your smart tags, your Samsung smart tags on your Pixel device or your Motorola device or whatever you happen to have. It also supports precision finding with UWB radios. So that's neat. It has all the features. I think it's pretty close to feature parity. It just allows you to use it with all devices. So there you go.
Yeah. Cool.
Neat.
Very neat. And Michelle's not here, but making his presence known. So we appreciate that. Yeah. So.
Got to. Dude's busy. He writes lots of things.
Indeed.
Got to follow him.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for apps. Like we said, it's a quiet week in the world of Android, but it's a perfect opportunity to hear from you, our audience. And in fact, we got a long one in there as well that we're going to get into. But first, we're going to take a break and come back. We'll hear from you and your emails.
All right.
Woohoo. All right. Our first email comes in from Scott Wyant from Truman, Arkansas, who writes in about this Pixel 4a issue, in fact. He says, "Hey, AF gang, long time, first time. I purchased my Google Pixel 4a when they went on sale, and if I can keep it alive, I'll still be using it for years to come for the simple reason that this was the last Google Pixel made with a Courage port. Love the show. Love the show and have faithfully listened since the inception of All of An Android."
Nice,
from Scott. Arkansas.
So great to have you with us.
So this is, people love the 4A. This is going back to this battery issue. The Google Pixel 4a has a lot of love. The Courage port is one of them. The size of it, the shape, the colors, like all the stuff. It was a good phone, and it's being rendered useless now. So
yeah, it's a shame. It's weird. We talked all about the weirdness and the shame that should be cast upon Google for how they have dealt with this.
I know.
It's a bummer too, because like when you find a phone that you like that works for you, that's I think another part of this is it feels like a total rug pull. It's like, wait a minute, I like this phone. It has all these things, and to know that it's the last one that has a headphone, Courage port, that's gonna really bum some people out because people like their ports.
Yep,
like their headphone port.
All right, Jason, you got the next email.
All right, let's see here. Ben writes in to say, "Hey, Android fam. I got the Pixel Buds 2 Pro for free with my Pixel 9 Pro pre-order. Ever since, it has been nothing short of a nightmare. From what I can tell, the problem is very common since people are posting all about it over at the r/Pixel Buds subreddit. The vent at the top of the earbud, directly behind the silicone earpiece, gets clogged, causing a plugged ear feeling. It's very uncomfortable. I had the buds replaced twice before I realized what the problem is. Now, in my third pair, and it has the same failure, I decided to just order the Nothing Ear A, and I decided I won't even bother to have them replaced again because it was a huge pain. Even if I get a new pair, they are bound to have the same problem in a couple of months. I removed the metal grill from where that vent is to see if I could unclog it. Wow. But it is just too small. Below the grill is also another grill. I will attach a macro shot of it to this email. I'm really disappointed that I haven't seen any journalists cover this common failure, which is why I wanted to let you know. I'm a huge Pixel fan. I've had Pixel 1, 2 XL, 4 XL, 6, and 9 Pro, as well as the Pixel Buds A series and Pixel Buds Pro. I'm a member of the Pixel Super Fans Club also. I love Pixel devices, and I have largely had a great experience with their products. That makes this all the more disappointing. Yeah, I would agree. For me, I am questioning whether or not I will ever buy another pair of Pixel Buds because releasing a $230 product that has a design flaw is like peak insurification. For what it's worth, I have loved my Pixel 9 Pro. It is truly an excellent phone. My three main complaints about my Pixel 7, you go a lot of distance in this email, were no zoom lens on the smaller model, mediocre battery life, and mediocre fingerprint sensor. All three are rectified with the 9 Pro. I apologize for the long email. I just thought this is an important story that I haven't seen anyone covering. Thanks, Android fam. Ben, my only advice. Oh, and here's some pictures. Oh,
yeah. So he sent a picture of his Pixel Buds, and then he did a macro zoom. So you can see here for our audio listeners, the photo on the left is just a shot of the Pixel Buds where you can see the vent or the grill that gets clogged up, and then he zoomed in on it on the right side, and you can see he's removed the grill, and he removed the grill, and that just reveals another grill underneath it. So this isn't something
grills
that you
upon
can
grills upon grills.
And also this is far too close. Like it looks like dust. I'm hoping it's not earwax, but yeah. But
I was gonna say
this is not something you can clean yourself. What he said, So.
It's unfortunate that you've removed the grill because I was going to recommend, because I doubt Google will take it back now that the grill's out of it. But I was gonna say get them replaced and then sell them, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's still Google would still give you a brand new pair, and they work for some people. They just aren't working for you. I would try and get my money back in some way, shape, or form. But it looks like you remove the grill. You're probably not going to be able to return that to Google at this point. That's bummer.
If anything, call them and just express your displeasure with it, and especially being such a super fan. And this is, and you mentioned, I'm not active on the subreddit for Pixel Buds.
No, neither am I.
I can imagine how that community is like. But
for everything.
But it is interesting that there are a lot of people that are talking about this issue and it's not being covered. So maybe one of our friends in the press are listening to the show. We'll pick this up and kind of make a bigger story out of it or whatnot. I don't know truly how many people are affected by this, but it seems to be a design flaw.
Yeah, interesting. Thanks for letting us know. Sorry, Ben.
Yep, bummer. All right.
Bummer, Ben.
And our last email comes in from Dave from Virginia Beach, and this is Jason. He's calling you out here. He says, "Hiya, AF crew. I'm the guy who asked a while ago of what was the word after the music drop in your theme song? And after you answered it, it seems so clear to understand now. Once you hear it, you cannot unhear it." So I got to ask, what would be involved to get an extended 12-inch remix of the theme music, or even just an extended cut of the current track? I love taking the podcast to the gym and would love to have a longer version of the music to enjoy on the treadmill. Let me know what it takes. Always faithful, Dave in Virginia Beach. So Jason, Mr. Yellow Gold Music, I know one of your 2025 goals is to make more music. What do we have to do to get the 12-inch remix, the 12-inch single, the DJ single version of the Android Faithful music?
I'm flattered that you would want a full-length version of the song. I was really happy with the song. I was happy with the way that turned out. I would love to do that. That would be fun. I just, what is the thing that prevents that from happening, or
time.
What would be involved? It's time. It's finding the time, and I am busier than I've ever been right now. I have committed to making music this year. Probably not that kind of music though.
Have you thought about exploring this kind of music though? Maybe you should do like Yellow Gold, but it's like a different. It's like the E in yellow is a 3 or something like that. Like it's like the EDM version of Yellow Gold.
5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I used to make music like this. That's how I was able to make that, and it was under the moniker of Raygun, which.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good name. That's a good name. Yeah.
Anyone who has known me in the last 20 years on the internet, Raygun has been a thing that has followed me around. Probably for most people that have noticed it, not because of the music, but because like of my ID on Twitter for the longest time was
Raygun01. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so I used to make music like that. That's why I was able to make that. I would love to do that, and I will go ahead and put that on my list of things I want to do someday. And the thing with creativity and me is suddenly I get hit with a creative moment where I'm like, that sounds like a good idea right now, but that takes time. That takes the right kind of scenario. And I'm not saying it won't happen. Actually, I think that's a cool idea, and maybe I'll tackle that someday. But I'm not saying that it's a priority right now because boy, am I busy.
Well, Dave in Virginia Beach has started this ball rolling. The rest of you, maybe we can pressure Jason into making it a priority. Email us at contact@androidfaithful.com if you want the extended remix track of the theme song. I know Wynn probably wants it for her workouts. But maybe we can get enough people to pressure Jason to do it. I wish that Patreon would bring back goals, because the old way Patreon used to work was that if you had enough people, it would unlock a goal or would unlock something, and I would easily set a goal on Patreon if they unlock it to make you do it, but like
well, let's just say wherever our Patreon level is right now, if we tack another $100 a month from people joining, sure, I'd do it.
All right, there you go. There it is.
So that's like setting a goal.
Yeah, there it is. So that's just 10 more people at the $10 level will unlock that. So Dave in Virginia Beach, I don't know if you're a patron or not. I should look that up. But you could start the ball rolling by signing it up. We just need 10 more people.
Yeah, there we go.
Or 20 people at $5. But yeah, so we'll figure it out.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Jason, the people want you. You're talented. You're talented.
Apparently.
Give them your talent.
I'm super. Yeah, I'm very grateful. Thank you. It's a cool question, Dave. Thank you for posing that.
Very cool.
Well, that is it for this week's episode of Android Faithful. We love all you guys and gals who follow us each and every week, and we couldn't do it without you. Couldn't do it without you, Ron. What do you want to plug?
Not much. I mean, it's just we're just rolling along. You can follow me on social media over at RonXO. I'm most active on Instagram, but every now and then I post on Blue Sky or Mastodon or Threads or I don't know, wherever. I'm so tired. Which reminds me, I got to post. I saw The Brutalist in theaters the other day. I haven't posted about it yet on Instagram. So and Letterboxd. I'm on Letterboxd as well too. If you're on Letterboxd, if you like movies. Yeah, so follow me on social media. Head over to ifanboy.com. You can listen to we've got a podcast coming out this Thursday where we talk a lot about Saturday Night Live. So you can we talk about the SNL documentaries that have been out leading up to the 50th anniversary, and then we did our fantasy draft of our dream casts for Saturday Night Live. So you can hear who my fantasy Saturday Night Live team is. I had the first draft pick, so it was very exciting. So that comes out on Thursday over at ifanboy.com. So.
Nice. And I will say, you had mentioned last week that I need to check out The Pit, which I haven't done yet.
So good.
But it came up. My wife mentioned like, oh, hey, someone told me I need to check it out. I was like, oh, me too. Ron said that. So it's on our list. So we'll check it out. Let you know what I think when we get there. As for me, you know, I've got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/@JasonHowell. Pretty easy to remember. But I think I'm going to throw a bone to AI Inside, AIinside.show. It's a weekly podcast with me and Jeff Jarvis. Talking about AI, interviewing cool people in the world of artificial intelligence. Some of the stuff that we talk about here on this show that has to do with Gemini and what Google's doing in AI, some of that ends up over there. But, you know, this is a really crazy time for that technology. And I'm learning so much by doing that show. Part of the reason that we launched that show, that I wanted to do it, is because I wanted to learn more about this technology that seems to be imprinting so much of the world of technology. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So, you know, learn with us, AI Inside Show. And that is that. Cool. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here with us each and every week. We could not do this without you. AndroidFaithful.com is the place to go to subscribe. Of course, Patreon.com/AndroidFaithful if you want to support us directly. You can do that on Android Faithful as well. We have, you know, articles going up as well as podcast episodes and stuff like that. So we've got a whole lot of content that we're throwing at the site, and we hope you'll see us over there. And
we will miss you next week, Jason. We hope you have a good trip. But we will welcome back Mashal and Win next week. So
yes, they will be back. So you'll be 3 of 4, and then the following week will be 4 of 4 for one glorious week, and then Mobile World Congress comes along and changes everything. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time on Android Faithful.
Right.
Yay.
Good times, my friends.
Good times. See, we didn't need a guest tonight. Ron and I got this. We've been doing this for years.
Fun times. I know I could do this in my sleep. So. Not that I don't enjoy it. Not that we don't work hard.
It's
but
awesome. I love it. I love how just like comfortable it is, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean,
there was definitely a time. I remember early All About Android time. Like we were having fun and everything, but I would get stressed out because I was like, oh, it's a show that like, we have to coordinate and everything, and if someone was missing from the cast, it was like, oh, I don't have my support staff.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But it was stressful.
But no. It was, what's great is that you are among the easiest people in the world to talk to. So it's great. So. Well, all right, why don't we pick a show title?
Innovative Product Lunch.
Innovative Product Lunch, is that what it is?
That's top right now. Yeah.
Let's pull it up on the screen. You got it.
Let's see there we go. Innovative Product
I think
Lunch.
It's got to be Innovative Product Lunch. Yeah.
I mean, it came up multiple times. I just love it. It's one of those things. Is like, really, that's never come up before.
I'm sure it's come up. I'm sure someone's done it.
Never drawn that connection. Oppo in the streets, but OnePlus in the sheets. Oh,
that's so naughty.
That is. Hell is other messaging apps, AI ad libs, Pixel 4a battery story gets curiouser. Pretty sure you said curiouser. Yeah. Gemini stinks worse than cheese. Ooh, on the road tag. AI hallucination or ad hallucination. A ticking bezel bomb, Oppo Find F5, the Slim Reaper. The Slim Reaper. That's got a ring to it. Two bros talking Android. Changing time or time change. Valentine's Day. It's a whole thing. Galaxy with a fold. Caveats no. Grills on grills. And Android Faithful 12 remix. I mean, it's got to be something with an innovative product.
No, it's innovative product launch. That's the product launch. That was the joke. So good job, Willie, for getting that in there. And so
got to get that in there. Okay, innovative.
Although Willie says, reminder, Jason, there is a copy button you can select so you can copy the title easier.
What?
Click on it and the.
Oh, does that?
It just copied it. Yep.
No, that just placed my vote. Oh, I did that.
Is there hit the
unvote? I can unvote the items.
No, I think it copies.
No, see, so
no, he says 5. No up top, copy. See where it says right there? There it is.
Oh, and so this. Oh, I see. And so then I go like
now. See the copy button on the right in the middle.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean.
Copy.
I got it.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. All right, cool.
I had no idea. Well, I've already typed it in by hand like a chump.
Yeah.
So.
Look at that. Showbot is so fancy.
Is that a new feature or just a feature?
I feel like we're scratching the surface of what Showbot can do because we're just kind of,
Showbot could be the new AI.
So much work into that. So.
The next AI revolution could be Showbot, paving the way for a technology we don't even know exists yet.
Yep. He said, no, that's been there.
Okay.
LOL.
Yeah. I had no idea. I use it for the thing I use it for, and I don't see the rest of the stuff, so I never saw that.
God. So I got another 3 inches of snow coming to me tonight.
Oh, wow. 3 inches. That sounds... Honestly,
so tired of it. We got 5 or 6 over the weekend. And I'm tired of shoveling. I'm tired of it.
Well,
it's funny, though, because last year we didn't get any snow, and I was like, 20 years ago, this would have been a foot of snow, and so now we're getting the snow, and I just can't.
It's been really cold overnight here. We're about to get and really cold for us is like slightly below freezing. Yeah. Cold enough that when you go outside in the morning, like your windshield is frozen and that stuff. But we're gonna get another atmospheric river starting tomorrow. Oh, cool. That's like a new thing around here, or not really new, but it's happening more and more. Yeah. We just get absolutely inundated with major amounts of rain.
Yeah.
And lots of flooding and all that kind of stuff.
On the road, Tang, yes, I'm aware that there's more snow coming after tonight. There's like at least 2 more snows coming in the next 2 weeks. It's like,
all right. Well, you got to be getting... Well, no, it's February. You still got a lot.
No, we still got a long road ahead
You got a ways to go.
Yep.
But well, we're escaping to the snow this weekend, so that's for you. So we're going there on purpose. We're gonna go to Winter Park, Colorado, and go snowboarding.
Nice, right on.
Yeah,
the kids are off next week, so it's gonna be hell.
Entertain me.
Yay. My daughter came home. My daughter came home from school with this bookmark by Mo Willems. And she said, I drew this and colored it in. It's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, it's signed by Mo Willems. It's like, it's not like, it's like, you didn't. So,
I mean, I was going to say, like, actually, you could. It's not the most complicated.
She is a delightful liar. She lies about things that do not matter and digs her heels in. Like, like right around the holidays. Yes, cousin John. My daughter is AI. She hallucinates on. So right around the holidays, we're in the car, and a Tony Bennett song came on, and I think my son was like, "Who's this?" I'm like, "Oh, this is Tony Bennett." A lot of people in our family like him because he's Italian and we're Italian and blah blah. And then she goes, "I saw him sing once." And I said, "Oh, did you?" She's like, "Yeah, you weren't there, but he was good." And I was like, all right, pretty sure he died before you were born, but okay.
Where did this happen? Where did this possibly happen? Could this have possibly happened?
It's very funny. Very funny. So, good times.
Yeah.
All right, my friends.
All right.
Well, we should get back to our lives and turn around the show.
Yeah, I mean, 1:15, like.
Yeah, not bad. Tight.
On it.
When there's 2 people and not a lot to talk about, you get a tight show.
Yeah, so we had stuff to talk about. I mean, there were 5 stories in the top news block, 4 in hardware, 3 in apps.
Yeah.
3 consequential emails.
Yeah.
There was stuff.
Stuff indeed.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And okay. So Tony Bennett died July 21st, 2023. So it's not entirely impossible, Ron.
No, she did not see him. He died in 2023? Oh, I thought he died earlier than that. So
maybe she did. And maybe she is the time traveler that we were talking about.
Yeah, maybe she's the dreamer.
So. All right, we're going to end the stream. Thank you, everybody. See you
next week.
See you. I will not see you next week, at least not on this show.
Send photos from the slopes on a Samsung so we can look at them.
Yeah, I will try to remember to do that.
And I do want to look. Loquacious says, if you're going to make something up, Tony Bennett is a good start, and that is true. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Hope you feel better, Win.
Yeah, feel better, Win. See you next week.